Hello, and welcome again to the Practical Enneagram. Today, my interviewee is none other than Integral Master Coach, speaker, writer, and entrepreneur Chayla Davison, whose name I first encountered 7 years ago at the same time and through the same person that introduced me to the Enneagram. So a bit special. Back then, Chayla was running her own business and training and coaching for Integral Coaching Canada, for whom she's still a director. I used to want to be Chayla Davison before I had to accept that that was never going to happen, as my coaching style is totally different. Check out one of her Coaching for the Collective videos and you'll know what I'm talking about. She's got to be one of the best developmental coaches around, and she is a stunning writer as well. This brilliant, talented, developmentally mature Type 7 lead programs for creatives and leaders and anyone really with boldness and a sense of calling. You can check out her programs and read some of her amazing writing at chayladavison.com. Links to everything in the notes. I mentioned last week that I was switching things up, and here's what I meant. Rapid firing personality style questions at people. Thanks to her amazing self-awareness and capacity to articulate herself, this style of interview worked well on Chayla, but I've decided not to continue doing it as it's not as insightful as I had imagined. In fact, I've decided not to record any further episodes for now, so finally I am calling time on season 1, and I'm not sure if there'll be a season 2 yet. I truly appreciate you if you've been listening, especially to people who have reached out to thank me or offer words of support and encouragement. It has meant a lot. Enjoy hearing from Chayla. I hope that this interview style doesn't give you whiplash. There'll be 3 more episodes after this one before I go quiet. What was the last fight you had with your husband about?
Oh my gosh, about needing to calibrate my approach to seeking affection, and I was pissed.
What are you most excited about in life right now?
Creativity, writing a solo show I'm making.
What's the biggest challenge you currently face?
Managing my energy to keep it focused and wielded towards my priorities.
What's an important habit for you?
Writing and yoga.
And your biggest vice?
Overdoing.
How would you describe your home in 3 words?
Chaotic, nourishing, lively.
When is the best time to ask you for a favor?
When I'm in get shit done mode.
And the worst time?
After 3 p.m.
What is the 7ist thing about you?
That question is impossible to answer pithily.
And the least 7ish thing about you?
I have an orientation to death and pain that I find very nourishing.
If you weren't your type, which clearly is the best, which type would you be and why?
I would be a 4 because 4s truly are the best. Because most of the people who I have the most, or many of the people who have intimately connected, nourishing relationships with are 4s.
Most used app?
Probably my calendar.
Most used word?
I don't know. I mean, aside from like what, probably emergence or seasonality.
Do you see yourself going back on social media?
Don't know right now, probably not. And if I did, probably only for like local intimate connection with people I actually know.
Chayla, what is a book or author you recommend to all creatives?
Stephen Pressfield, all of his things, but The War of Art and Do the Work were fantastic.
A book or author you recommend to all coaches?
I like Ken Wilber. I don't know that all coaches are going to want to get their heads around that. But I think that's fantastic. I also really liked while it felt like pop psych, the Big Leap by Gay Hendricks, I think was fantastic.
Yeah. What does writing mean to you?
It's like food. It feels like fundamental to my nourishment, to my lively, like my life force, my self-expression. It's my medium.
If you were to pen a memoir, what would the title be?
Well, since my solo show is doing a little bit of that, the title is currently A Little Bit Much.
I love it. If you were to write a self-help book, what would the title be?
Regenerative Livelihood.
How old were you when you completed the Landmark Forum?
19.
What would you say, if anything, it developed in you?
Integrity. Like a real strong capacity to honor my word and clean up any messes when I'm out of integrity.
And would you do it now?
No. I mean, maybe, because I maybe wouldn't know. I think it offers a lot. I think it's also very partial and a bit problematic.
Agree. How many silent meditation retreats have you done?
3 10-day and a 3-day.
Wow. And how does self-care look to you?
Depends on the season. Exercise, baths, yoga, gardening, weed, edibles, maybe, plant medicine. It depends on how, like, kind of daily maintenance is like high and low energy ways of being embodied and breaking from productivity spells. And then in like deeper ways, taking time off. Like I take August off, doing retreats, doing deep inner work. Those would be like.
And if you weren't an entrepreneur and a master coach, what would you be doing, do you think?
Writing books.
If you were to write yourself a Dear Chayla, what would the subject be?
How do I fully trust myself to go for the budding visions and dreams that feel outside of the scope of my current identity and expertise?
Chayla, what is your greatest asset?
Wait, are we talking like tangible assets? I would say my greatest asset is my heart, my genuine care for people, humanity.
And your biggest liability?
Taking on too much.
Who do you wish understood the value of self-development?
White men in power.
What age were you when you started your first business?
19.
And what was that business?
A hair salon. Haven Hair Artistry and Wellness Creation.
Oh my God, what an amazing name. How did it end, that business?
I sold it. I sold contracts with the staff and my client list to an existing salon, and the whole team moved up there in 2008 for 3 years worth of my revenue, which allowed me to retrain as an integral coach, start a business, leave a marriage, all as a single mom.
Wow. What is your primary spiritual path or practice currently?
Currently is nature-based. Well, that and like folding my laundry in a reasonable period of time and not wanting to renovate my kitchen. Those feel like actual, like just being in life and not wanting it to be different, is a big one. But nature-based, like third person relationship with God. I am a rising nature, being out in nature, being in nature patterns, gardening, that really connects me with the wider net of all of us.
Do you quieten your mind?
Rigorous exercise, like cardio, yoga, and writing.
What was the last thing you sought to develop in yourself?
Moving back into, I really deconstructed busyness and pathological productivity for a very long time. So coming back to a season of my life that is very busy and full and high energy, and doing that in a very aligned, titrated, regulated way.
Mm-hmm. What's a quality that you value in others?
Integrity, empathy. You just asked for one.
I'm happy with 2.
Okay. I just really love people.
You do.
Yeah, I just really do. So people who are willing to be who they are and like give and receive in mutuality.
And quality that you value in yourself. Also feel free to give more than one.
Generosity. I really I feel and am generous, and I really value that. And I'm insightful.
You are.
Yeah.
When was the last time you fell in love?
Oh, with my husband. And we met at the beginning of 2014.
And the last time you cried?
This morning on a call with my publicist.
Tell me one key lesson from the past 12 months, Jada.
That wintering as a concept is far more romantic than wintering as the actuality of dying to yourself and your identity. Quite hard, turns out.
What was something that the pandemic highlighted for you?
The heartbreaking reality of late stage capitalism and where wealth and money is funneling.
Describe your last year, as in 2022, in 3 words.
Clarifying, liberating, joyful. I know that's not the norm. I know a lot of people had a shitty 2022. I'm sorry.
No.
It was really great. Only because I wintered.
What would you love to be able to say about this year at the end of it?
That the ecosystem of my business and offerings solidified, and that I really went for it with my authorship dreams in a way that is coming to fruition.
Who would you love to interview for your podcast? What is leadership?
I really want to interview Alexandra Franzen and her business partner. I really dig their vibe and what they're doing. So this isn't somebody who I hopefully will. Also not on social media, do a lot of stuff in writing and publishing. And I really like her marketing voice and approach.
What is leadership?
Who knows? But I think some of the ones that's been at the forefront has developed a bit of a weird, sick world. So I don't like that kind. In a recent interview, someone actually said, and I was like, yeah, is like the most commonly used term that doesn't actually mean something, or we all have these different perceptions of what it means, but it's commonly used. So to me, in my work, leadership is about really finding what your unique way is to have authentic, aligned influence in your life and with others.
What's easy for you that used to be challenging?
What's easy for me that used to be challenging? Prioritizing and executing without spin.
What's challenging for you that used to be easy or fun?
Oh, I love that. It's challenging for me that used to be easy. I would say physically, like the changes in my body, like really just the limits to my power, like running, jumping, playing. The limits used to be mental, and now the limits are physical, which is painful and frustrating.
Something you do now that you ideally don't want to be doing in 10 years?
Coaching.
Most coached Enneagram type?
Ooh, most coached Enneagram type. I would probably say 7 and 4.
Most coached instinct type?
Oh, I don't know if there's a most.
Yeah, we'll get a mixed bag.
I can really see across, but I can feel those are the self-prezzers. Those are the socials. These are the sexuals. The sexuals are fun as heck. Not that the others aren't, but.
Sexuals are just more fun, everyone knows. The funnest way to spend an empty weekend?
Coffee with people I love, moving adventurously in nature, not having plans I don't want to go to.
What is something that you prefer doing alone? Keep it clean, please.
Well, I mean, now that you said that, I actually prefer that with other people. So, what do I prefer doing alone? Maybe like smoking pot and going for a walk in the woods. Yeah, I'd rather be alone for that.
Who has inspired you lately?
A lot of my clients, I'm drawing on a lot of inspiration from bravery at new edges. I feel like for a little bit, I've kind of been resting in my more like capacities and expertise zone. And so people who are like really making courageous moves, I felt really inspired by, and looking for where I'm not.
Any pet peeves?
Yeah. I'm auditorily sensitive. So, like gross noises, licking, chewing, dogs licking themselves. I cannot. And or even just like loud music when I'm trying to focus and do deep work. I don't have music on when I'm working. And apathy and ambivalence is very difficult for me with others.
How do you say no to people you like?
Not very well.
Biggest accomplishment so far? It's going to be difficult.
I think continuing to come back to my own sense of alignment with my calling, even when it means disappointing people, letting people down, or not as visible accomplishments. Does that make sense?
I love that. And of all the visible accomplishments you could have chosen, if you were not living on the, I think I'm going to say this correctly, unceded territory of the Squamish Nation. Have I said that?
Squamish, yep.
Oh,
Squamish.
Okay. Where would you be living?
On a beach. Like somewhere, like, I don't know, Costa Rica, Thailand, Portugal, somewhere not here, somewhere warm. I would be somewhere warm where there's water.
What's your favorite holiday?
My honeymoon in Maui was pretty rad. And driving down the Baja with my best friend in our 20s in a Volkswagen van.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, it was.
Somewhere you haven't been that you've always wanted to go?
India.
Something you always travel with?
A notebook.
What is a piece of advice for people wanting to ski in a wedding dress? So mad people like you.
Oh, you did do your research. Make sure you can bustle that sucker up, and get a photographer who knows how to ski if you want any decent pictures.
Favorite workout?
Oh, really depends on I would say like something that contains multitudes. So some like high intensity, some like deep stretch outside, some like outdoor boot campy kind of thing. That's
brutal.
Yeah, no, I like it.
What do you listen to when you work out?
Like my musical line of development is like not much. So I will listen to whatever somebody else puts on, or I will like search a playlist for my mood and play that.
What is your most eaten snack?
Probably apples. Yeah, apples is like a go-to snack. Yeah.
Most used metaphor in your coaching programs?
Ooh, I don't repeat those much. They're very customized and intimate. I'd say probably the one that's repeated the most, maybe like 2 or 3 times, is like something in a hummingbird bee arena for a current way, which incidentally was also my current way.
Oh, really? Standard approach to resistance or people not doing their practices?
Normalizing it, that's actually change is not going to happen without it. And then getting really curious about super scaled down micro moves that can work with the resistance itself without making the resistance wrong.
Practice you find yourself giving over and over again?
Receptivity through the senses and varying pace practices.
What's one thing that running lead has taught you?
That the most power as a developmental course builder you can have is to simplify complexity.
Oh, that knocked it out of the park. So something that has surprised you about parenting?
That it's not as easy as I thought it was.
Yeah.
So, but not pre-parenting. Like everybody's like, it's going to be so hard. And I thought it's going to be so hard. And then I had my son and then it wasn't. And then I was like, this isn't so hard. I am so patient and I'm so capable. And then I had my second son and I was like, never mind. I just had an easy kid. So, and I guess with that, the surprise of like thinking that certain approaches or styles or ways are like how to be a good parent, like just how dependent it is on this emergent being. for what's going to work and what's going to serve them and what's going to serve me.
I admire all of you parents. I'm not a parent. Something that has surprised you about marriage?
Oh, that's really good. What a good question. What am I surprised by? I am surprised by what we can mutually tolerate and still like each other.
So true, right? That's got to be so true.
Wow, I still want to be here. You still want to be here. Outstanding.
What are your thoughts on my questions?
Oh, I love them. I thought they were really fun. Some made me feel a little like, ooh, I felt seen just in your curiosity. So they felt so inviting.
Oh, good. And my last question, Taylor, how will you reflect on this interview, if at all?
Well, if I know anything from giving past interviews, my mind will probably look for the answers that I gave that I'm like, should I have given that, particularly about the weed? Then I'll spiral into a little bit of a post-visibility contraction. Then I'll soothe myself and then I'll be fine.
Taylor, that was awesome. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me. It was so fun.
The next interview is with Catherine Grant. I think we're going to be talking about wings and trips along a wine dark sea.